Hello, hello, hello. Can everyone see me? You guys hear me okay? Yeah, I'll look into it. I don't know. I don't know if any of this is true. I haven't seen the like you guys are giving me some breaking news. I'm going to cover the breaking news from the Senate and the Save Act. That's my number one news. I'll look into this other stuff. I know you guys are very Iran centered. I'm very America centered, but I hope Iran understands that America is central to helping Iran. Like Like I don't know. I don't even know. Yeah, I'm not even talking about this until I can confirm it. So I'm definitely not covering that today. But anyway, we do have some breaking news that I want to share with you guys. And I think it's very important that we go over this because it is very, very exciting news. Let me see. I have some updates for you. Yes, yes, the Save Act passed. You know, guys, you wanted it. We all know it was very important. And it's passed. The Save Act has been passed. Let me see if I can present this. Share screen window. Here we go. Share audio. Here we go. I think so far it's the House, but honestly, I'm not sure. All right. Can you guys see this? I think you can. You should be able to. Right. There's also a Save Europe Act, which I didn't know about. I want to go back in here into some. Okay, so here it is. Right. U.S. House, it's the House that passed it. The Save America Act in a 217 to 209 vote attached to the national security legislation, and it now moves to the Senate. All right. And I think that's great news. Someone who was talking about this yesterday, and I know you guys have your problems with JD Vance, but here's my thing about JD Vance. I like him much more on home politics. He's great on home politics, great against fraud. You send him international, I don't know what's up. Maybe he was a deflection. Maybe he was trying to, uh play possum with the IRGC to get them, to believe in the deal. But on the home front, I think he's much better. Let's listen to what he has to say here.
Federal thing. So we are right now trying to pass the Save America Act. One of its main provisions is a requirement that you do voter ID. And we actually have, I think, a majority of the Senate that would support it. But this is just weird Senate procedural bullshit. There is a subsegment of people who want voter ID, but won't blow up the filibuster in order to achieve it. And so they're so married to these old world Senate procedures that they're going to make it impossible for us to pass Save America. Now we are for what it's worth trying to fix that and trying to address these like weird procedural archaic things.
Can I show this? Yeah. Okay. So Weekend Bingo Bingo says happy that the hate is off Trump. Now I have actually spoken about this. When you have Marco Rubio and JD Vance, you have people that can say, well, Trump obviously believes that we shouldn't be embroiled in all of his affairs. Look at JD Vance, it's his vice president helping trying to make a deal. Now, let's say you're the type of conservative that says we can't deal with these people. Israel has a right to defend itself. We have to get, Israel and Lebanon to get Hezbollah out, and we have to take out the IRGC. We can say, well, Trump believes in that too. He has Marco Rubio right there doing all those deals, and Pete Hegseth. So this allows Trump to have both sides within his party. So when you're going to vote, you can either point at Rubio or point at Vance and say, hey, you know, this is a Democrat party that represent both unipolar and isolationist tendencies.
It's insane though. Like, have you ever? Okay, I'm sure you hear people talk about the filibuster all the time. I don't
Yeah.
want to go too far down this rabbit hole. Here's what the filibuster is. It is a pure Senate rule. It is a creation of the Senate procedures, which basically says that anything that has to do with the budget is a 50 vote threshold. And everything else, non budgetary, is a 60 vote threshold. Now, as you can imagine, there's some gray area on things that maybe are count as budget issues and should be 50, or are not budget issues and count at 60. So, what we have tried to persuade the Senate to do is to treat the voter ID as something that can fall within the 50 vote threshold. And there is no law, there's no provision in the Constitution. It is legitimately that there are senators who are so attached to the idea that budget is 50, non-budget is 60, that they're quite literally willing to prevent.
Well, wait a minute. We got more breaking news here. Wait a minute. What the hell? What does this mean? What is the House passed, says Aaron Duff, passed a daylight savings time bill with the Save America Act. It will never pass the Senate. Wait a minute. What do you mean a daily? What is the rules here? What are they going to do about daylight savings? What's going on with that? Talk to me, guys.
Voter ID in America.
Yes, it did pass. Let me see here. Like over here, you can see. No, I don't have it there. You see, it passed 217 to 209. I wonder who this independent is. Probably some. Well, it's a yay. All right. This is other things. But you guys saw that, and let's go with this clip. I want to see this clip because he's explaining more about the budgetary stuff and what the filibuster is, this rule, like 60 or 50 to pass, that kind of rule. And they're just kind of looking into it. He does look like he has, what is it called? That stuff people put in their eyes? Eyeliner or shadow? Like that, like this right here looks very dark. You understand what I mean? Like, especially down here, like the stuff Marilyn Manson. Bienvenido, José. Un placer verle por aquí. Welcome, José. A pleasure to have you here. Espero poder entretenerlo un poquito en esta noche. Estamos hablando aquí de el Acta de Salvar América. I hope I'm able to entertain you a little bit over here. We're talking about the Save America Act.
Trump administration's priority is to actually get the Save America Act passed. We have the proudest and in some ways the oldest democracy anywhere in the world. 250 years we just celebrated, and yet if you vote in California, you're lucky if a month after the election day, your vote has actually been counted. We know that we have in certain jurisdictions illegal aliens who are casting ballots. We know that 80+% of the American people want you to show a voter ID in order to vote, and yet there are a lot of big blue states.
I want to go back here a little bit.
Your vote has actually been counted. We know that we have in certain jurisdictions illegal aliens who are casting ballots.
That's the problem. This is what I've been talking about. The Latinos and the Black people in America are being disenfranchised by illegal aliens because the communities that they stick these illegal aliens in, it's not what's the name of that? It's not in the Hamptons. They don't stick these people in the Hamptons. They stick them in the Bronx. They stick them in Chicago. They stick them in Queens. They stick them in Black neighborhoods. And that's the problem because a lot of, let's say you're a Democrat, but you're not a Hamas Democrat. You're a Blue Dog Democrat. You're a Jewish Democrat, and you don't want to vote for the Hamas candidate. Well, these Democrats are going to disenfranchise you because they don't believe in democracy. Let's say you're a Latino, you're a black person, you're a Democrat, but you're not a Hamas Democrat. You're not an let all the illegals in Democrat. Guess what? They're gonna put in a whole bunch of what are you talking about? Puerto Ricans can't vote for president. They can't certainly can't vote outside of Puerto Rico. And Puerto Rico has had voter ID for decades. I don't think we've ever not had voter ID. You Americans, you in the continental US, you're the retards that don't have a voter ID. You can't use a Puerto Rican voter ID for anything in the US. Especially a Puerto Rican ID is the most useless one. When you have a forged New York license, a forged California license might work. A Puerto Rican ID? That's useless for vote. What are you talking about? That's crazy talk. We don't have. Let me explain something to you. We don't. This isn't. This is not a sanctuary island. Yeah, it doesn't matter if it says Puerto Rico. Everybody knows you can't vote. That's like a guarantee that you can't vote for president. Puerto Ricans can't vote for president. It's illegal. We have elect. Let me explain how it works. Some people don't know. Puerto Rico has electoral votes in the electoral college. The person who hands those electoral votes is the governor. So we do get electoral votes. We don't have popular vote. We don't decide who gets the electoral votes in the presidency through the direct vote. We do it through the political system. We have the elected officials be the people who choose who the electoral votes go to, and they went to Trump. Now, hey man, that's fine. You didn't know. Like if you were still angry at me and trying to like find under the dig at me, I take it more personal. But if you just didn't know, you just didn't know. Like the problem that we have is New York ID. The problem that we have is California ID, especially those CDLs, those commercial driver's license, where they give people that can't even read the signs and they give them the license to drive a truck. That's the real problem because that also gives them the right to vote. No, you know who else? This is also true. But you know who else can't vote? Washington, D.C. The people who live in D.C. can't vote for president. They're in the same situation we're in. Yeah, the college, the electoral college. That's what I'm talking about. Exactly. God, you know, you guys know. I know. I know. I got a smart audience. It's Armin's audience. So the problem is that the Black and Latinos in California are getting disenfranchised because maybe they didn't want to vote for Mythia, whatever her name is. They wanted Karen Bass. Now, if you voted for Karen Bass, your vote is being eliminated by a bunch of homeless people. And now you're getting this Mythia lady who just increased your taxes by 5%. Like, who votes for a 5% tax increase? Even if you're a Democrat, you're going to pick Karen Bass because you don't want the 5% increase. You're not going to vote for that. I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe decades ago. And for decades, it's got holograms. It's a completely different ID. You don't even get it at the DMV. It's a whole different department. You can't use it for like the Puerto Rican voter ID is only for voting. You can't use it at the bank. You can't use it at you can't use it for identification. Like the cops won't take it as an identification. You have to have your driver's license or identification from the DMV. You can't use it to travel. You can't open a bank account with it. You can't change it. You can't cash a check with it. Like the Puerto Rican voter ID is only for voting. Only for voting. You have to have it to vote. You have to be registered in the rolls. It has to have been issued. We have to have a signature. We got to have your address. Like if you don't have it, you may use a driver's license, but the information on the driver's license have to match up with the voter ID. Like the voter ID takes precedence over any over identification, and you can kind of replace it with a driver's license, but it's got to match. So the preeminence is not in the driver's license, which you could change district or whatever within the island. It has to match because we got a lot of districts in Puerto Rico, so it's got to match. Anyway, going on a tangent, we can have a little clip of this talking about Puerto Rico voter ID. But in essence, our voting, the way we vote is a lot better than the way the Americans vote. And we are Americans, but it's like saying the way we vote in my pseudo state is better than the way you guys vote in your real state. Like try to say over here that it's racist to have voter ID. Everybody's gonna look at you like you're the racist one. The whole island. Because we got 3 parties and all 3 parties agree you gotta have voter ID. Democrats are down to 3rd place, by the way. Oh, we do it like I think it's in a day. Like by nightfall, we know. It does no because look, I'm gonna keep going on this tangent. This is gonna be like a separate clip, right? And we're gonna restart this video. But let me explain something. I'm a registered Republican, right? When I was young, what I used to do is help count the ballots. We would count them at schools, and each classroom would have ballots in it, and depending on where you live, it's which classroom you go to, right? So you would pull out your voter ID to go into the school. It would be like the school day would be off because it's a holiday. No one has to work on election day. So you go, you show your ID, you go, they look for you in the voting rolls. Once they find you on the list, they told you where to cast. They give you ballots, tell you where to cast it. No, I think they give you your ballot in the classroom. They hand you your ballot, and they put like there's like the special die that they put on your finger, right? I think it's on your finger that so that everybody knows you already voted, and you cast your ballot, and then we have 3 representatives from each party in each classroom. Now we take the ballots and we count them out. And we have this many for one party, this many for the other party, and this many for the other party. All 3 parties have to agree on the count. Doesn't matter if you won or lost. Like usually I won because my city used to have the longest lasting Republican mayor in the Guinness World Book of Records. Like he died, and his son became the mayor after that. But we have the longest lasted in record Republican mayor. So the mayor wins. We count the votes. The Republican agrees, the Democrat agrees, and the Independent agrees. Yes, he had that many votes. We do agree that the Democrats had that many, and the Independent got that many. Once that ballot, everybody signs it like they agree on the number, and we take the ballots to the courtyard of the school to the police. Now, a representative from each party from the school load up the ballots not onto a van. I don't know why they do this, but they do it in a pickup. I think they do it in a pickup so that everybody, and you're not even supposed to ride in an open top pickup, mind you. It's supposed to be illegal, but they load it on a pickup truck, and the police escort the pickup, and inside the bed of the pickup, the delegates from the 3 parties, I've written on that pickup, all 3 of us ride with the ballot boxes from that school all the way to the polling station. And then we all sign like, yes, this is the correct number, and they put it. We get a receipt that's the number that they counted, and then they take those ballot boxes in. By nightfall, we know the count. It doesn't take 2 days, 3 days. That's ridiculous. And the most fun you can have on election night is riding in that pickup with a police escort, hair in the wind, with the sealed boxes, and you got in front of you the Democrat, and on your left is the Independent, and all 3 of you are just getting along fine. You don't agree on anything that has to do with politics, But election night is a party, and as soon as you get done, you're all gonna shake hands. You're gonna go to your local place, and everybody's gonna have fun and get drunk. You have to buy your alcohol like 2 days before, because they do have like a dry law that you can't buy alcohol on election day. No drunk voting. I mean, they do it anyway, but no drunk voting. Yeah, it's one day. By the next day, we have the answer. By the same night, like by like, I don't know, 10, 11 at night, we know. Basically, it's the paper ballot system you guys used to have. Like, if you look back 30, 40 years ago, this is what you were doing. That's what we're doing. Like, anybody that's a little older will say, yeah, that's how it used to be done. Anyway, that was a small tangent. I'm going to try to clip this out on Puerto Rican voting. We're going to talk a little bit about the ID. You're gonna be put on the spot, but I'm gonna say, like, remember, I also said, hey, you know what? You treated me with respect. We talked about it and all this, but yeah, it's good. Anyway, back to the video.
The entire Trump administration's priority is to actually get the Save America Act passed. We have the proudest and in some ways the oldest democracy anywhere in the world. 250 years we just celebrated, and yet if you vote in California, you're lucky if a month after the election day, your vote has actually been counted.
That's ridiculous. Now, we're talking about the Save America Act, we're looking at some clips, and what JD Vance is saying here is that it takes so much. That's really ridiculous all over the world, and in many states, it shouldn't take that long. I see that it's a feature of the blue states and blue cities.
We know that we have in certain jurisdictions illegal aliens who are casting ballots. We know that 80+% of the American people want you to show a voter ID in order to vote. And yet there are a lot of big blue states that make that impossible, will in fact criminalize the act of asking for an ID in order to vote. Why would you criminalize asking for an ID?
That's pretty ridiculous. I'm going to be honest with you. Criminalize asking for an ID? It is embarrassing. Jaletra says that's embarrassing. Yes, it is. Virginia has a non-voting delegate to the House. I believe we do too. I'm pretty sure we do. And what they do is they caucus with Democrats or Republican, whoever can get them the votes when it comes to deciding some kind of budgetary bill. It's kind of embarrassing, but I'd rather be with America if the shit hits the fan than having to go ask the UN to write some strongly worded letters for us. Yeah, Virgin Islands. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if your choice is being Haiti or Puerto Rico, who are you going to be? If your choice is being the Dominican Republic, and the Dominican Republic is pretty nice compared to other places, but Dominicans don't come over here because it's so much better over there. You understand what I'm saying? And we love them, but a lot of them like to get naturalized, get married over here. A lot of them come over here, and it's not because the government system. Great people, but the government over there, it can be problematic. It's getting a lot better, though. Haiti, I'd be a king. Haiti, you'd be in danger. That's a problem with Haiti. It's dangerous. When you don't have law and order, it's dangerous. The problem with the Dominican Republic is different. It never got as bad as Haiti, luckily. Well, like in the old days, it was. Let's get back to the video.
In order to vote, unless you wanted to encourage and promote cheating. So this is an important priority for the administration, but more importantly, it's an important priority for the American people to save our elections. The way you save America is by bringing election integrity. It's something that matters. It's a shame that the Democrats aren't going to help us get this done, given that a majority of Democrat voters actually want us to have election integrity in this country. But we've got a good piece of legislation to support the troops, support the farmers, and get Save America Act passed. This, of course, is the first step, but it's an important step. We're going to take it together. We're going to be successful, and we're going to keep on working at it from there. Thank you.
All right. That's fantastic. Where's my banners? I have that. What happened to it? Breaking news. There we go. So here they were talking about all that procedural bullshit. This is a stunning confession. You guys want to hear a confession? You guys like confessions?
Yesterday was the SAVE Act. The other thing that we blocked yesterday was the SAVE Act, right? Which was literally administration to rig our democracy so that it would be hard for any Democrat in any state to win.
Stunning confession. It's hard for Democrats to, you know, have voting with ID because us dumb old blacks and Latinos, we can't find ID. How did you get an ID? I'm on a monkey. I don't know how to get ID. No sé cómo conseguir ID. Oh, Latino bruto, dumb Latino. I don't know how to get an ID. I'm a dumb black person. Yeah, I'm mixed. I don't know how to get ID. It's so insulting. It's so racist. What do we have here? Oh, we got some facts here. 71% of Americans support the SAVE Act, including 69 of independents and half rank file Democrats. Half of the Democrats. Additionally, 83% favor requiring proof of citizens to register. Damn. Oh, this is funny. California demands ID for everything, but not for voting. It's disgusting. I bet it is.
The election, and disenfranchise all married women in the meantime, by the way. It just, you have to.
Bullshit. What married women can't. This is bullshit.
Show your birth certificate
And by the way, married women vote Republican. They don't vote Democrat.
at the polls.
I'm joking, by the way. I'm sure many married, but like most of them, like if I had to pull a statistic out of my ass, I'd say 65 to 70.
You have a married name. The other thing that we blocked yesterday was the SAVE Act. Right?
So here, that was a stunning confession from the Democrats. Europeans want to save Europe Act because they don't get to vote on their people
got
either.
2 or 3 different ideas.
Now we have this from Fox Business. I want to react to this. This is very short, but I want to react to it.
We've got 2 or 3 different ideas on how to make the Save America measures fit into the budget reconciliation process. As the name implies, it's got to be reconciling the budget. It's got to be tied to fiscal issues. And one of the ways to do it is to create a grant program to incentivize states to enact election integrity measures. There are other ways as well. We're discussing all those. That is going to be a big component of what we send to the Senate.
Yeah.
We've got 2 or 3 different ideas.
Divorced women are conservatives too. Well, you know what? You're all welcome to come over. Like, I was joking. I'm not actually a misogynist. I do recognize there's things that women are better at than men and men than women. Like, there's just, the physical differences I recognize. But I'm not an actual misogynist. I'm just like, a bit of a monkey. So
The entire Trump federal thing.
This all comes back.
yeah, this is more
And
about the
of all-
Save America Act. Let me
Okay,
go
if we
over
don't want
here
them to implement secularism.
into the bookmarks because
So
I
what
know
do
I
you
got
want
some
them-
Well, the
bookmarks
samples
here.
This all comes.
Federal thing. So the entire Trump.
The other thing
We just got the new.
We've got 2 or 3.
I got things that are specific to US React.
We've
Here
got
we go.
2 or
We just got
the other thing that
The entire.
Oh my God!
This all comes
Why
back
do
to-
they keep playing automatically? Stop!
And
Stop!
up-
Stop
America.
it! Stop! Democrat appointed judge John Steele, Florida, just ordered the release of illegal alien criminal who previously hijacked an aircraft. What the fuck? You see, this is the thing. We were appointing bad judges. Sometimes you need impeachment. Michael Guerra Morales, a criminal illegal alien from Cuba, is officially back in Florida communities. You're gonna what are you doing?
The
You're
FDNY
stealing?
announcing this blaze that can
This is another thing. Oh, I'm sorry. 1 second. Mwah. Bye. I'm sorry. Had a call. My apologies. So this is something that happens, and it seems to happen. It's been happening. This is like the third one in New York City because there were two that we went over in an earlier program, and I do remember that these churches were in New York. This is another one in New York. Outrage erupts. It erupts after New York City Department of Buildings rejects saving a 174-year-old church that was intentionally burned down. Investigated the arson. The agency that decided to demolish the church is run by a man named let me get the pronunciation right. Ahmed Tigani. Demolition will begin soon. Absolutely outrageous. New York City churches are routinely burning down now, and the local pro-Islam, pro-third world leadership is glad it's happening. Well, they may be involved. I don't know if they were redistricting that church. They wanted that land for something. They're gonna they have the power in the council to basically declare it. What do you call it? A building that you can't use. There's a very special name for a building that you can't use that I can't remember right now. Let's take a look at this.
Fire. The FDNY announcing this blaze that consumed the South Bushwick Reformed Church is being investigated as arson.
We have no known enemies.
Church pastor James E. Stewart says up until the fire, the congregation met weekly, a community staple.
That seems like a nice pastor too. Like some pastors, you'll be like, you know what? You're not fucking kids, but you're fucking all the ladies. But this looks like a nice pastor.
Church also acted as an event space and a food pantry. He adds he has no clue who would do something like this.
Now we understand that it is intentional.
He seemed like a nice man, right? And not only that, I bet it was intentional.
And so that, of course, brings another layer of grief.
The National Registered Landmark was built in 1860.
It's a registered landmark. Registered landmark. That means it's a place that people kind of visit to get a feel of how it's been for a while. You get a feel of the culture of the area. When you do that, you think when you make it a landmark, you think it's a cultural icon.
Has stood tall on Bushwick Avenue ever since, acting as a beacon in the community. Archival photos show a church that watched the neighborhood grow around it, but that beacon became a target in late June, and the South Bushwick community is left heartbroken.
I think it's messed up because it's been here forever. My aunt got married in this church.
That's incredible.
That dude sound local. He sound local as fuck. That was New York ass accent. Look at that. Like he probably incensed. Like he probably look at that. Listen to his voice.
I think it's messed up because it's been here forever. My aunt got married in this church.
That's incredibly upsetting. I mean, if it was arson, that would be really just shocking and upsetting because, like Lee said, it's a historical landmark and it means a lot to people.
While the goal is to rebuild in the future,
I want nothing more for it to be restored. It's seen so many generations.
A pastor and congregation forced to lead generations of worship in the past, asking why their haven was done harm.
Whoever it is that's responsible for it ultimately has to answer to God.
The pastor tells me the church will need to be torn down completely, a process that's expected to be finished by August of this year. They would love to rebuild in its entirety, but that process...
I remember the word now, condemned. Sometimes they condemn a place, and once it's condemned, it means you can't rebuild.
This could take a long time, and it's not guaranteed. In Bushwick, Alan Devlin, CBS News, New York.
Look, the only way I could accept this is if these motherfuckers got so much money, like you know, they got so much money poured in from donations. I don't care where it comes from. Like, don't steal it from people, obviously, but they get so much money that they get to rebuild it just like it was, new hardwood, treated against fire. Sprinkler system in there, so this kind of shit inside and out, because sometimes you got outside sprinklers. You know, they got like outside sprinklers and stuff too, right? They use it a lot in California because they got a lot of forest fires. So inside and outside sprinkler system to avoid this shit. Like in Puerto Rico, we build shit in concrete. It's really hard to burn a house down here. It's possible, but it's not easy. It's also harder to turn off. But the point being, like, I'd want it to be built just the way it was because this is some fucked up shit. This shit was in this neighborhood forever. This shit, like, piss me off. I'm not gonna put my rage face on, but it does piss me off.
I know what my gut just
Oh
told me
no.
about
Okay, we got to do a retard reaction. What?
I know what my gut has told me about the situation from the moment that it took place. I know what beyond my gut and beyond my dreams, the statement from Andrew Colbert, it was supposed to be you. Was it? Was it? Is it fair to ask if it's plausible that when Charlie was taken to the Hamptons, the phone call no one wants to address from Bibi Netanyahu, is it fair to ask the question if it was literally supposed to be me who was supposed to be back on tour with Charlie?
Okay, so Candace Owen is now saying that Charlie Kirk might have been killed because he refused to kill her. This bitch makes everything about herself. She's so fucking psychotic.
I'm the only Democrat in my family.
This guy is about to be Democratic, but not very much of a Democrat. Because this guy right here, he is the politician that gets better with brain damage. I think the brain damaged the retardation out of him, and he became like a more 90s Democrat. Okay, just locked down, so the SAVE Act passed in Congress a while ago, but it held up in the Senate, mostly due to McConnell and John Thune. Yeah, John Thune pisses me off. I don't know what his fucking problem is. I think they try to bullshit their way into like a 50 versus 60% votes in the Senate, something that's not has nothing to do with the Constitution. McConnell is a piece of shit. I'm not gonna say the wrong senator died, but I mean, I'm not gonna say it. That's all. I'm pretty sure they are guilty of getting illegal votes. I don't know what's their problem. I think they got some dirt on them or something. I don't know what it is. I don't know what they're holding over them. But yeah. Someone's echoing me here. Okay, kid, you not. I think the same thing as you just did about Fetterman. I remember when Fetterman had just come out of his incident. Like he was still kind of foggy. He went through that fucking debate, and that debate was crazy. But I think they made him look very sympathetic, and that's kind of why he won. They also put him against Dr. Oz, which is kind of I'm gonna say it, but Dr. Oz, if you see this, don't take it personal. He's kind of shady. He kind of knows all the tricks. It's kind of tricky. I think having Dr. Oz looking at medical fraud is the best thing you could do because it's got tricky guy. What do you do with the tricky guy? You have him find the tricks. He knows all the tricks. You send Dr. Oz, he's going to find all the fucking tricks in Medicaid, and that's exactly what he's doing. So I think it's better for Dr. Oz to join up with JD Vance and go after this fraud. And Fetterman, you know what? I may not like what he's doing with where is he from? Pennsylvania, is it? I forget.
I'm the only Democrat in my family. I grew up in a conservative part of Pennsylvania.
See, I know. Monkey knows stuff.
And I grew up, and I know and I love people that voted for President Trump. But they are not fascists. They're not Nazis. They're not trying to destroy the Constitution, those things. And that's part of another thing. I refuse to call people Nazis or fascists, or I would never compare anybody to Hitler and those things. And now that kinds of extreme rhetoric is going to continue. We're going to be more likely in resulting in extreme kind of outcomes and political violence.
If more people than the Democrats talk like him, we wouldn't have people trying to ram ICE and get their ass shot. People do use that kind of rhetoric and then go around and tell you that ICE doesn't have the power to detain you. ICE doesn't have the power to stop you. And people think, oh, yeah, well, you know what? I'm just going to push them out with my car because they're not allowed to do that. Bam, 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 you're shot. because you believed in some Democrat bullshit rhetoric. If more people talk like he talks, things would be a lot better.
And doing all these kinds of things, like Charlie Kirk. For me, all I could say is like, let people grieve. Give people the space. I'm not going to use that terrible thing and that Pasek assassination to make my argument and try to put out my views. It's like,
brother, can you understand why I think this is like the best Democrat they got out there? Tell me who's better. Show me a better Democrat. Go ahead, I'll wait. Who is a better Democrat? Like, I don't care that he wants to, I wouldn't vote for him. But I'm saying right now, I don't care that he would probably like to raise some taxes and give Medicare to more people than I would like, or Medicaid, or like, to maybe some illegals. But right now, who is better? Barney? Isn't Barney Rubble? Bernie? No, Bernie is more extreme. Like, I put him second. I maybe put him second, but I don't, but like far second. Far second. Yeah, Bernie. You mean Bernie. You said Barney, but you mean Bernie. Barney is Barney Rubble. He like, I remember Barney because I'm almost as old as the dinosaur. No, AOC is an extremist. AOC she's dangerous because she's a political chameleon, right? She will flip on people. Like, as in charisma, I put her up there, but like in actually having decent engagement with people and not having this rhetoric about fascists and Nazis and all this bullshit, AOC be doing that shit too. Don't be fooled by her being a cute Latina. Like, AOCs are a dime a dozen here. Like, you run into 20 AOCs here. Even better, you run into like 50 old school J-Los, and that's way better than AOC. AOC is like a little mousey. She got the big ears, the big eyes. I mean, you know how she opened her eyes real big? J-Lo not like that. J-Lo cuter. I don't like her politics, but J-Lo, especially old school J-Lo, like back when she was a dancer for, oh my God, Paul Abdul, back when she was a dancer in Living Color, back in those days. Yeah, I'm ancient. You heard me. I remember where J-Lo started. Like, that's the kind of Latinas we got around here. Y'all get fooled because AOC kind of cute. I will admit she kind of cute, but don't get fooled. She does. She's kind of nerdy. She's got like a nerdy mousy look. Like, you're like, yeah, I date you, but like not with those politics. Yeah. I don't want to get too much into her looks. I don't want to be too mean. Well, I do want to be mean. I just don't want to do it right now.
Pasek assassination to make my argument and try to put out my view.
Let me go a little bit farther back.
Use that terrible thing and that Pasek assassination to make my argument and try to put out my views. It's like, my God, he's a father that had his neck blown out by a bullet. And now people have forgotten. President Trump was in my state, was shot in the head. And if that could you imagine where our nation would be if he was hit in the same way with Kirk? We really got to turn the temperature down. And we can agree to disagree on these kinds of things. But right now, shutting down the government, I just can't take it that. I'm the only Democrat in my family.
Look, right now, they're trying to shift it. They're trying to like give him a signal. They're fucking with his mic and shit. But this is the real thing. This is the real thing. AOC is dangerous. You know who else is dangerous? Ro Khanna. Yes, AOC is Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez. She's a fake Puerto Rican. She was raised in upstate New York. She's never been in Puerto Rico more than a month. She makes false claims of being a Puerto Rican. New Yorkers can be recognized because they can't speak Spanish. They wear the flag all over, and they're full of communist bullshit ideas. That's some of the hallmarks of a New Yorker. There's good Democrats. Now, like, we got some conservative New Yorkers, but they're not that performative about being Puerto Rican.
a seemingly infinite.
All right.
For 250 years, Americans have.
All right. Now we're getting more into the past. I did get some clips about the main topic. All right. I should probably write a banner for the main topic. We're gonna get into it here. All right. The first one I want to talk about is some Nick Shirley stuff. All right. All right. This is about fraud. Let's see if I can do something about this banner. Edit. All right, we're going to talk about these Washington fraud hearings. Right now, this is a tweet from Nick Shirley. I testified in front of the Senate today on the widespread fraud crisis in America. Since I exposed the fraud in Minnesota, it unleashed a war on fraud across the country. The fraudsters got away with it so long, they had literal leering centers. That's the famous one. We went over this. We reviewed this here on this channel. Leering centers that receive millions of dollars from your taxes. When I first started making journalistic style videos, I made it my mission to show the world the reality of things as they really are. You guys want to know a fun fact about Nick Shirley that you maybe didn't know? Did you know that he has been to UK? Do you guys want to know who he was hanging out with in the United Kingdom? Anybody got a guess? Does anybody know who Nick Shirley was hanging out with in United Kingdom? Let me see what we see here. I love Nick Shirley. He's such a great young man with so much potential. That guy's making a name for himself for sure. I'm so happy for him and his efforts. I echo this sentiment. That's right. That's right. He was with Tommy Robinson. That's who Nick Shirley, before all this shit in Minnesota, that's who he was hanging out with. Bonus question. Who else was there? That's 1, 2. Who was the third person in that trio? Tommy Robinson, Nick Shirley. Who else was there? Yeah, Tommy Robinson is one of them. These are the guys that are hanging out together. Like they had a day of hanging out and checking stuff out and just, looking around and stuff. We got Tommy Robinson, Nick Shirley. Who else was in that group? Nope. Apostate prophet. Our friend Ridvan. He was over there with them. It's actually funny to me because, no, not Katie Hobbs. Because when Apostate Prophet talked about it, he had no idea who Nick Shirley was until he sees the video. He's like, I recognize that guy. I hung out with him. I thought it was funny. I thought you guys should know that. And you guys should love Apostate Prophet. Great guy. No, Apostate Prophet is he is into apologetics. He has a show with David Wood. His name is Ridvan. I can't remember his full name. But you know what? I'm doing it live. Let me see here. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. This is the guy. Now, he and David Wood are some of the most famous proliferators of the Al Zut story, right? We got this story from Raymond Ibrahim, but Ridvan Ademir, right, Apostate Prophet, and David Wood were the two people that most started taking the work of Raymond Ibrahim and, letting it spread across the four corners of the globe, much like Muhammad spread his cheeks, right? So that's what, like look at his post here. We hate Islam because it promotes child marriage, slavery, sex slavery, killing apostates, killing blasphemers, fighting disbelievers, subjugating Christians and Jews, beating women, insulting Christians, insulting other religious, and stupidity, and there's more. So Nick Shirley was hanging out with this guy and Tommy Robinson. And I thought that was just funny because I've been a big fan of Apostate Prophet for a very long time. Oh my God. I forgot to put his link in. Let me get it back. Actually, Apostate Prophet, and this is David Wood. This is the other guy here, Dr. David Wood. They have hosted Armin. When I first got to know Armin, the first time I saw Armin was on one of their shows. That's where I know Armin from. Like, if it wasn't for them, I would have never heard of Armin. This was before the war in Syria, much less the war in Iran. This is like a long time ago. This when Assad got kicked out, that's one of the first times I saw him. Back
hundreds
then.
of billions.
He is an independent journalist known for his on-the-ground investigations, which he publishes.
This is Paul. Paul can be a little bit of a dick, but he's not as bad as Thomas Massey.
He is an independent journalist known for his on-the-ground investigations, which he publishes on his social media pages and the Anti-Fraud Club website. Mr. Shirley.
My name is Nick Shirley. I'm a 100% independent journalist who seeks each day to serve we the people of the United States with the mission to show the world the reality of things as they really are. America was built and created by strong men and women who loved America and never would have thought to rob, steal, or cheat from its very own citizens. Unfortunately, today, America's good faith has been abused by others, often foreigners who seek to harm, rob, and cheat America. Through my efforts, I've exposed billions of dollars of fraud and helped save America hundreds of billions for years to come. When we talk about fraud, we are talking about money that is being stolen from hardworking, law-abiding,
All right, let's take this link and make sure you guys get this link. I want to make sure you get it. And I want to put this in a way where you guys can see the subtitle. So I'm trying to like move it along because I know we have like a bit of a banner not going down in the bottom.
tax-paying citizens. This issue has nothing to do with political parties. No dollar says Republican or Democrat on it. When a fraudster commits fraud, he or she steals from all of us. Last December, I published a 43-minute long video exposing widespread fraud in Minnesota.
Okay, I'm gonna explain something here. Okay, like Grant, NK Grant is telling us, is this from today's hearing? There were no Democrats at the hearing, not one. Why do you think? Why do you think there weren't any Democrats at the hearing? Like Nick Shirley was there, but who else was there that would scare the shit out of Democrats? Here we go. James O'Keefe. James O'Keefe was there. And when James O'Keefe shows up, you're a Democrat, you run. Because you don't know if you go to that hearing and James O'Keefe got you on video. And oh, Senator so-and-so, you got a problem? Come here. Because James O'Keefe pulls out. Remember when you dated this lovely young lady and you're like, wow, look at this fine ass, blondie over here. Wow, she looking fine. Pulls out the wig. Suddenly, the dress turns into a suit with a tie and everything. Suddenly, pants come out, and it's James O'Keefe. Like, oh my God, it's James O'Keefe. Democrats should know you can't date. If you're a Democrat in power and you got a hot mamacita talking to you, it's James O'Keefe, motherfucker. It's James O'Keefe. So that's why there weren't no Democrats there. It's because they're fucking scared of James O'Keefe. Y'all seen the video. James O'Keefe is coming for you.
Minnesota. That video became one of the most viewed videos in internet history and gained over 4 billion views in just 7 days across all forms of media. The fraud was so obvious that the fraudsters weren't even trying to hide it. The infamous Quality Leering Center was born, and that video has become one of the most consequential videos in American history by the amount of legislation it has created. Since posting it, over 30 bills have been created and introduced in Congress regarding fraud. A new fraud task force has been created, and the Treasury is working on new systems to stop fraud at unprecedented levels. I helped ignite a war on fraud across the country. People often wonder, how come this fraud became so big and how come it became so rampant? And The reason is because no one actually ever really looked into it.
That's an excellent point. Oh, we got a chat here. Ridwan and David are awesome. That is very true. That is very true. Now, this is very true. Like, this is what I'm talking about, The Sopranos. You know how mafia guys do it? The Sopranos, you have some kind of scam, you have some construction project, and you put it in the budget that you have, you know, Joe, Schmo, and Blow over there. And Joe isn't a real person, but you're going to take that Joe's check, and Joe makes $5,000 a month, or maybe $10,000 a month, depending on what his work is on that construction site. But he's not a real person. So you take that $10,000 and you maybe take 4 or 5, and you kick up to the boss the rest. Like, you take 5, give 5 to your lieutenant, and your lieutenant takes those 5s and kicks up, maybe takes 2, maybe takes 3, kicks up 2,000 to the boss. Or I don't know if they just take a little and give most up. I don't know what the scale is. I've never been in the mafia. Maybe you take 2 and you kick up 10, and you kick up 8. And then, you know, it keeps going like that. And somewhere along the line, the big boss at the top is going to kick up to the politician that's allowing the fraud. It's going to kick back up at the politician that lets everything go over budget, that doesn't care when the wiring disappears, and oops, a spool of it disappeared, and they don't care. So they kick up. They all kick up. And that's what goes on with these frauds. They kick up to these campaigns.
When Elon Musk offered to help by creating Doge, people burned his factories, bombed his cars, and politicians even celebrated his company's stock going down. Elon was right when he said the fraudsters complained the loudest.
Not only that, the guy who celebrated going down of Elon's stock was Tim Walz. And Tim Walz's pension funds for the employees of his state had invested into Tesla. So he's cheering even as his employees' pension goes down because of the stock going down.
By exposing the fraud, I actually also exposed the politicians and media who worked for years to cover it up. Governor Tim Walz labeled my work as white supremacy and called me a far-right delusional conspiracy theorist. Meanwhile, he dropped out of re-election, and he even said he has ended his political career. Now, the highest government-funded daycare in Minnesota has pleaded guilty to daycare fraud, and the largest autism bust in American history has been exposed. Where is Tim Walz in the media now? It just so happens that over 80% of the fraud committed in Minnesota is by the Somali population.
You know what? We went into that. We saw that earlier, how Tim Walz pardoned a rapist. Grapist. Do I have to say grapist? YouTube? Are we still doing this silly thing? Like, at some point, we're going to talk about the grapist, because I don't think you guys have seen the grapist. You got to see that.
After Minnesota, I exposed widespread fraud in California within the daycare and hospice community, where an impossible 1/3 of Americans on hospice care were set to die in Los Angeles. The next day, the governor, Gavin Newsom, posted an AI-generated image of myself trying to mock and discredit my work. Only days later, he and his attorney general both tried to take credit for exposing the fraud. Now the attorney general's wife has created a bill that would make it criminal to expose fraud. The Stop Nick Shirley Act.
We went over this, like we've gone over this in program. I think this is all very important to American politics, and we have been going over this, and you know, we've kept you informed about it. Like, it's hard to get people to get into American politics because, I don't know, I guess it's not as sexy as war, but you know, we can't win the war if we can't win the ballots. Like, that's a very important part of what's going on here. So, you know, I'm hoping and I'm praying that you guys start to tune in and trying to do it every day at 9 p.m. so that, you know, we can come over here and, you know, and I can have some people to share this with, some people that can share it further and let it reach the masses. We're starting. This is us just starting. It's a little slow going, but, you know, I don't even want to talk numbers too much. I just want to thank you all for being here, tell you how much I appreciate you for helping me get this message out there.
Also known as AB 2624, will help fraudsters cover up their crimes and prevent themselves from being exposed, specifically in immigrant communities. Politicians often use immigrant communities to commit fraud. Why would they allow this to happen? In California, Medi-Cal, their Medicaid program, has now more than doubled from $108 billion in 2022 to a proposed $222 billion, while enrollment has only rose by less than 1%. The system is filled with bad actors and fraudsters.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
In New York City, government-funded adult daycares pay for elderly Koreans and Chinese to play ping pong and do Tai Chi at the taxpayer's expense. An impossible number of patients are registered, and those patients receive kickbacks for attending and signing up.
What did I tell you? Well, didn't I just say this? You guys, I just fucking said this. They're getting kickbacks. They're getting kickbacks. They're getting a government check. The person is getting a kickback. The center is getting a kickback. They give a kickback to whoever's in the government. This is all about the kickbacks. This is what it's all about.
Their friends. Over $2 billion has gone to these fraudsters at the taxpayer's expense. And I'm just one person doing the work of many people. If the government and media is not going to do their job to help America, it's the responsibility of strong men and women, however old they may be, to do it. I am doing it. Despite the threats and burdens that come, it must be done. I'm doing it with the help of everyday Americans that government paid officials are supposed to do, and the media teams across the country.
This is also true what Nick Shirley does. He finds a person that's about as autistic as he is about numbers and fraud. He talks to that person, gets that person in the car, and they help each other out. This person is, I'm not good enough at getting this out there, but I'm good at finding the numbers. He's like, I'm not as good as getting the numbers, but I'm, really good at getting it out there and asking questions. So he just goes out there and asks, but why that? But why? But why though? But who are you? But how you guys get all this money? But isn't there this many? Like, you got to be a little bit autistic to do this shit, right? Like, you got to really be in there, because he doesn't get. The thing that's impressive is that he doesn't get angry. Like, I think he has some special ability to not get angry, because I would start getting so pissed after half an hour of finding that much fraud. I would go off the handle. I would lose my fucking gourd.
We have millions of dollars to do this, yet they don't look into this fraud. They've actually quite literally failed us. If we as Americans do not stand up to protect our country, we will lose our country. Fraud is so rampant in the United States, I could go to all 50 states and uncover millions of dollars of tax dollars being defrauded, wasted, and abused. It is my wish while sitting in front of you guys today that you take action and help Americans by cracking down on all of the fraud, and to simply put Americans first. Thank you.
I think what we need is more Nick Shirleys. You understand what I mean? Just like we need more James O'Keefe, we need more Nick Shirleys out here. I think that was a great video. I think you guys, again, I'm going to put his link up here so you guys can check him out. I think he's fucking awesome. And there's the link. You guys go check him out. All right. What else do we have?
Appreciate it.
Goy Fatigue sent $150. First ever super chat. Just wanted to say that I have Goyim fatigue.
Me too, man. Seriously. Thank you for the huge super chat.
Do you know what Goyim fatigue is? Oh my God. I haven't even, nobody even sent me this. This is Nick Fuentes. This motherfucker hates Jews. Like, that's why I don't like him, because he hates Jews. Now he's starting to flip.
Glad to hear that. Appreciate it.
Goy Fatigue sent $150. First ever super chat. Just wanted to say that I have Goyim fatigue.
Me too, man. Seriously. Thank you for the.
You know what Goyim fatigue is? It's an allegation. Like, Goyim, I think it means nation. I don't think it means cattle. I think that's like a that's not a real thing. Like, I talked to a blue Jew that told me that's not true. I know that all rhymes, but everything does in time. Hey, the thing is, he has Goyim fatigue. This is stupid people fatigue.
Huge super chat. I appreciate it. Serious Goyim fatigue. Honestly, we have to emulate the Jews. The Jews, listen, in many ways, the Jews have it figured out, and we have to emulate them. Not morally, but in how they move. The way the Jews move, they're so much smarter than us stupid Goyim. The way they stick together, the way they help each other, the way they focus on what matters, they're learned.
Bro, what the fuck is this? Nick Fuentes, what's going on here? What is going on here? What the fuck? You see how he says, well, not their morals, implying that they're immoral. Like, no. You have stupid Marxists in Judaism and Christianity, among black people, among white people, among Latinos and Europeans. The stupid Marxists are everywhere. It's not a racial issue or religious issue or a profession issue. You have stupid Marxists in Hollywood, just like you have some conservatives, not as many, but they're there. They just keep it quiet. Now, being a conservative is something you keep in the closet. Being gay is something you're out about.
They arranged each other's marriages. They get married. They have kids. They learned their holy books. They learn the history. They learn the esoteric, mystical stuff, as well as the legalistic, ritualistic stuff. I mean, they have figured it out. And us white people, we don't have a fucking...
Oh, my God. I thought he was going to say everyone. He went for the white people. I don't know what to fucking say. I don't know what to say. What the hell is going on here?
Clue. White people are on 4chan. The Jews are studying the ancient scriptures. The Jews are studying the ancient tradition. The Jews are studying the mystical tradition. The Jews are learning and teaching each other finance, helping each other. They're like a fucking unit, man. They're a team. And us stupid white people are on 4chan getting in Twitter drama. Fucking, you fucking guys work for the Jews. This fucking guy's a Fed. I saw a thing on 4chan. Really? It says Hitler. Da, da, da. So ignorant.
This is what he's like, a high IQ anti-Semite. Like, and he's so sick. Like, this is the thing. This is the thing. He's been an anti-Semite for a long time, and he has been very careful of not following the stupid anti-Semites. But ever since Charlie Kirk and Tucker Carlson, the stupid anti-Semites are flooding him. And then they're getting mixed in with the third world anti-Semites and the, Middle Eastern anti-Semites, Indo-Pacific anti-Semites. And a lot of those people have just crazy, retarded views about Judaism. He's the kind of anti-Semite that's just using it to foster his own little corner in America, but he wants to claim that he loves America because he knows pandering to, anti-Semites in India, it's not going to help because they ain't got no fucking money. He knows that pandering to anti-Semites in Africa is not going to help him because they ain't got no fucking money, right? So he has to pander to white Christian anti-Semites. That's not a lot of people, but they got more money. And that's a problem. He doesn't want to pander to the left because they're all fucking broke. If they weren't, they wouldn't be on the left. Is this making sense to you guys? So he's been flooded by a whole bunch of stupid anti-Semites that are virtue signaling to an audience that he can't capture, and they're using for clicks. Is it making sense for you guys? So he's like the high IQ anti-Semite that's trying to be very hidden, very subtle about the bullshit that he says about Jews and trying to be very smart about it. But now he's getting lumped in with all the stupid anti-Semites, and he's very disappointed. Just stop hating Jews, Nick. You're realizing that their way of life is better. Why don't you just admit that they're not immoral? At least not most of them. Just the ones on the left.
So weak. Divided. We need to, in some ways, I don't think we'll ever be able to be like the Jews. We have to be like Rome. I'm beginning to think that...
You see, he's like, we'll never be as smart as the Jews, but maybe we could be like Rome.
Like the Jews can operate a certain way that we cannot. So we have to be different.
No, I don't think he's illogical. I don't think he lacks basic logic. I think he has the wrong motivation. And I think I don't know, because I think if he wanted, I think he might flip, because he does a lot of things that are intelligent. Like he intelligently inserts like anti-Semitic shit within a lot of truth. It's not like Candace Owens, where it's like, no, there's Egyptian planes, and Charlie Kirk was trying to, like, he doesn't go for stupid. He slides a sandwich. He takes a sandwich of truth and puts a slice of anti-Semitic absolute bullshit in there, like the cheese, right? And you can barely taste it in there, right? So that's what makes him dangerous. Thinking that he's stupid, Candace is stupid, Tucker is stupid, or pretending to be stupid. This guy is dangerous. You can't underestimate your enemies. You know what? Inshallah. One day, maybe, God willing, he will convert to Judaism.
Maybe need a Roman mentality, which is maybe like embracing contradictions, universal ideologies that can marshal huge amounts of men and huge armies, you know, like that. Maybe that's the idea.
That's not going to work. That's the problem you have. You embrace too much crazy stuff, and now you're stuck with the stupid.
But anyway, I agree.
He agrees. We have to be more like the Jews.
Glad to hear that. Appreciate
Says Nick
it.
Fuentes. Oh, this is 45 minutes ago. Latest wave of U.S. strike against Iran completed. Okay, this is breaking news. Let's go back to breaking news. Do I have a breaking? No, okay. Breaking news. Banner ticking. All right. Latest wave of U.S. strikes against Iran completed in Tampa, Florida. U.S. Intercommand CENTCOM ended an evening wave of strikes against Iran at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, July 15. Oh, here it is. Okay. Look, let's go for the sizzle reel first. We're going to watch the sizzle on these strikes, right? And then we're going to get into more details. Okay, that's a little loud. Those are F-18s. Here's some targets. There, this we can put the volume up for this. See that? That looks like what was that? Is that a Shahed launcher? What is that? Is that anti-air? Well, whatever it is, it now was. See that? Okay, they just hit another antenna. The antenna, is it falling? Why isn't it falling? Oh, they hit the building at the base. No, they hit the antenna. There it goes. I mean, those things are kind of easy to rebuild. That's the problem. That's a drone. That was a drone. Why didn't you cover it? Stupid. You know what? Shh, don't. It's fine. We don't have to talk about it. All right. U.S. forces struck Iranian command center, air defense sites, missile and drone capabilities, coastal surveillance facilities to further degrade Iran's ability to threaten innocent mariners crewing commercial vessels transiting the Strait of Hormuz. CENTCOM used precision munitions to hit targets in multiple locations, including Bandar Abbas. Earlier this morning, American forces struck coastal defense cruise missile sites in the Greater Tomb Island during a 90-minute wave. The U.S. military is holding Iran accountable at the commander-in-chief's direction. All right. Let's see what the commander says.
Right.
This is breaking news. I believe this is Admiral Cooper.
I'm Admiral Brad Cooper here at United States Central Command, where I'm leading the forces executing Operation Epic Fury. First, I want you to know that we continue to keep the families of our fallen heroes and our wounded teammates in our thoughts and prayers. I'd also like to acknowledge and thank the families of the 50,000 American servicemen and women deployed in and around the Middle East. I'm grateful for your selfless sacrifice, and I know that Americans across the country hold you in their hearts. Let me start by offering my overall assessment of Operation Epic Fury. In short, U.S. forces continue delivering devastating combat power against the Iranian regime. I've said this before, but it bears repeating. U.S. combat power is building, Iranian combat power is declining. And we remain centered on very clear military objectives in eliminating Iran's ability to project power against Americans and against its neighbors. Every day, we're striking hard at Iranian ballistic missile and drones. To date, we have struck more than 5,500 targets inside Iran, including more than 60 ships, using a variety of precision weapon systems. Just yesterday, we have struck more than 5,500 targets.
Woo-wee! That's a lot of targets. 5,500 targets? Jesus Christ.
It's inside Iran, including more than 60 ships, using a variety of precision
See the way it hit that pickup truck? I love seeing that.
weapon systems. Just yesterday, we had strike waves nearly every hour from different locations and directions going into Iran. We also took out the last of 4 Soleimani-class warships. That's an entire class of Iranian ships now out of the fight. I'd characterize our strikes as being unpredictable, dynamic, and decisive. Since the first 24 hours of this campaign, Iranian ballistic missile and drone attacks have dropped drastically. But it's worth pointing out that Iranian forces continue to deliberately target innocent civilians in Gulf countries.
That was Abu Dhabi.
While hiding behind their own people as they launch attacks from highly populated cities in Iran. Of course, forces executing Operation Epic Fury aren't just defending against Iranian threats. We are methodically dismantling them by hitting Iranian missiles and drones, as we also strike their defense industrial base. Just last night, our bomber force hit a large ballistic missile manufacturing facility, as an example.
Okay. If anybody was wondering what that was about, that's what it was.
So it's not just about what's shooting at us today, it's also about eliminating the threat in the future. Now, let me show you a few of the results from the tremendous efforts by America's joint force. Here, you see an Iranian Jamaran-class warship, a large patrol ship, a drone smuggling vessel, and 4 other surface combatants docked at Chabahar port in the Gulf of Oman the day before we launched Operation Epic Fury. Here's the same pier 4 days later, all ships taken out of action. This Bayandar-class surface ship was hit and rolled on its side. Here's another example. Here you see 2 Iranian surface combatants docked at an Iranian naval base near the Strait of Hormuz, just hours into the campaign. And here's what they look like 3 days later, engulfed in flames after we struck them with a precision weapon. For years, the Iranian regime has threatened commercial shipping and U.S. forces in international waters. Our mission is to end their ability to project power and
For the people that don't understand why this is your problem, I'm going to show you what they're missing. These are your Amazon packages. Like some of the stuff that we buy is made in the Middle East. Some of the stuff we buy is sent to the Middle East. If Amazon doesn't have the power, Alibaba or the places that we buy these cheap things from, like you buy something that for you seems cheap, but for them is a profit here, they take it to China where they're transported for a profit through Amazon, Alibaba, wherever. Like you got to understand how commercial shipping has become global. I'm just kind of like saying names of companies, but and I don't mean your Amazon packages, just your cheap outside made goods. That's where this comes from. Like until we can make all that stuff here, it is very important that we protect the shipping lanes. And just for the good of humanity and for the good of peoples everywhere, it's good to have competing goods. Like this is good that to have like free trade and restricting the straits, restricting oil, restricting all that is bad for business, bad for you. It affects you directly. It makes all of your shit more expensive.
Commercial shipping in U.S. forces in international waters. Our mission is to end their ability to project power and harass shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. From the air, we've achieved a concentration of air power with back-to-back waves of advanced fighters creating constant pressure on the enemy every single day.
That's the
Our
bone,
dominance
the
is not a
B1.
solo effort. It's a testament to the strength of our
That's an
ironclad
F-15,
alliances.
F-16.
We continue to coordinate
Let me see if I
closely and
got these.
effectively with Israel effort. It's every single.
That's the B1, also known as the bone, because B-O-N-E, bone, B1. That is the B-52 Flying Fortress, if I'm not mistaken. That's an F-16, B-52. These are F-18s.
Creating
Yeah, it's an
constant
F-18.
pressure on the enemy
A couple of
every
F-18s.
single day.
The B1
Our
bone.
dominance is not a solo effort. It's a
F-16,
testament to the strength of our
F-15,
ironclad alliances.
F-16, Jewish
We continue to
F-16.
coordinate closely and effectively with Israel in this very large operation, and we are also
Our brothers in Israel helping out. Love it.
coordinating and serving side by side with all of our partners in the Middle East. We're on a path to eliminating Iran's ability to threaten Americans
Boom, shakalaka.
and our friends, and we are achieving this through a combination of lethality, precision, and rapid innovation. Let me highlight a few examples, at least the ones that aren't classified, of how we are achieving lethal effects in entirely new ways. First, our warfighters are leveraging a variety of advanced AI tools. These systems help us sift through vast amounts of data in seconds, so our leaders can cut through the noise and make smarter decisions faster than the enemy can react. Humans will always.
For a long time, the problem with U.S. intelligence is that we could see everything but understand very little at a time.
Make final
AI helps with that a lot.
decisions on what to shoot and what not to shoot, and when to shoot. But advanced AI tools can turn processes that used to take hours and sometimes even days into seconds. I continue to be impressed with all the branches of the U.S. military. The entire team is performing superbly. Strike operations from our joint force continue, as I've said. I assess that we are clearly exercising air superiority over vast swaths of Iran. We have the most integrated air defense umbrella in the Middle East, and our defensive operations from the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, and Space Force teams are performing magnificently. A note about the Space Force. Our space superiority has been a critical enabler to this fight. Unseen by the world, the Space Force is doing two things. First, they're degrading Iranian capability, and second, they're helping to protect American forces, and I'll have to leave it right there. All told, despite this incredible progress, make no mistake.
Space Force is doing stuff, important stuff. I can't tell you more.
We remain highly vigilant. And I just could not be prouder of our Operation Epic Fury team, and I know the American.
Wait a minute. What is this? What is this? What is this? Bananas and rice? Oh, no. I'm not Somali. We like our rice with beans and pork. Thank you for the comment. I'm just kidding, by the way.
People shared that same pride. To all our warriors out there, please keep up the great work and Godspeed. Thanks so much.
An audio compressor, yes, but I would have to, like, what's happening is I'm running my mic direct into the feed, so I'm not running the audio out through. Well, I guess I could show you. I'm not running the audio out through the stream, because I could have a stream. See if I can show you guys this. Oh, you guys want to see behind the scenes? How the sausage is made? Can you guys see that? I don't know if you guys can see that. Oh no, I haven't added it to the screen. There we go. Now you can see it. Right. So on some channels, I have a browser channel, WhatsApp channel, game channel, voice chat, the PNG tuber channel. This is the channel where I'm getting the audio. I could run all the audio through a stream, like through stream channel, like this is the stream channel, or I'm porting directly into the PNG app. If I run everything through stream, I could run, like I am running a compressor, but the compressor is only going into my voice. Like this is my equalizer. I don't know if you guys can see the equalizer because it opens in a separate window. Let me see if you guys can see it. No, I don't think it shows up because it opens in a different window. But I am running an equalizer, a compressor, and a noise removal on top of voice focus. But you know, it can be a pain. It can be a pain to get the audio right. I am working on it though. I might have to buy a new microphone that is not a USB, it's like a dynamic mic. An XLR mic is I think what they call it. So that might be what I'm doing, but I don't really have a lot. Like I spent a lot of money to get like, you know, everything working right, and it's still not enough. I still got to buy some stuff for the walls to make it sound right, because I know audio is very important for keeping you guys here, keeping you guys watching, and you know, this is inside baseball. I'm not supposed to talk about it too much, but it is what it is. Our cause is to kill every non-Muslim. Well, you know how it is. Let's go into some more videos because I did get sent some more videos. We got a little bit more to go. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute. This is also breaking news, so I can keep the banner up for breaking news, and we could talk about this. Let me show this. This appears to be about Cuba.
At the end of the day, they got to make a decision. Their system doesn't work, right? Their economic system.
Oh, this was in May.
It's broken, and you can't fix it with the current political system that's in place. They just don't comprehend how to do it, and it's a failed state. Like their economy and the model they're trying to follow in Cuba doesn't resemble what anyone is doing anywhere in the world. I mean, there are other ways to do it that can provide the people of Cuba prosperity and opportunity, and it's what I said in the video to them the other day. You look at Cuba, in the Bahamas, in Jamaica, in the Dominican Republic, here in Florida. Cuba's surrounded by places where people have the right to do things like own a business, work for themselves, and be able to vote and for the leaders that govern them and or replace them. So if that's possible all around Cuba, why isn't it possible? Why is that not possible inside of Cuba? And right now, there just doesn't seem to be people over there.
Can you guys hear that okay? It seems like a little low for me on the audio. Can you guys hear it? Sounds a little low to me. Speaking about Cuba, are they in the darkest still? Okay, let's see over here. While U.S. defense officials are reportedly examining Cuba military options, including the possibility of surging the Army's 101st Airborne Division, according to CBS. No operation has been decided yet, but pressure is ramping up on the communists to allow a new government to no longer betray the people. If Trump makes a move, nobody will know what happened until the objective is complete. Marco Rubio nailed it. They're not going to be able to wait us out or buy time. We're very serious. Cuba's 90 miles from our shores. So if you have a systemic meltdown in that country, which is where they're headed, you can't fix it within the current political system in place. They just don't comprehend how to do it, and it's a failed state. Okay. President Trump prefers negotiated agreement. Yeah, that's kind of the problem with him. I'm just being honest with you. The likelihood of that happening, given who we're dealing with right now, is not high. And these are comments he made in May, so I'm not going to go over that. Okay, this is another amendment. This is important to American news because we give so much money to so many people that I think this is important. This is Congressman Greg Stoop breaking my amendment to withhold 100% of U.S. aid, which I thought was already over. This is a different U.S. aid to Nigeria until this government stops slaughtering Christians as passed. American taxpayers should never bankroll a government that turns a blind eye while Christians are abducted, tortured, and murdered. No more wasteful foreign aid. You guys want to take a look at this? This is also breaking news.
Devastate the country.
There's a lot of breaking
Nigeria
news
has
today.
faced a horrific wave of violence that its corrupt
Oh my God! I
government
still
has
have
failed to
a
address.
highlighted comment.
For years,
My
and
bad.
especially in recent months, Christians and other religious minorities in Nigeria have been subjected to violence and terrorism at the hands of extremists operating with impunity. Christian women and girls continue to be abducted, assaulted, tortured, and killed. Their churches are burned, and entire communities are erased. If the aid conditions included in the bill are important enough to withhold half of all the funding to the Nigerian government, then they are important enough to withhold all of the funding.
All of the funding. This is the like no more aid to Nigerian countries that want to kill Christians and enslave them. This is very basic stuff.
The generosity of our taxpayers is a reflection of the American values we hold so firmly. Never should we allow their hard-earned tax dollars to be funneled to corrupt regimes that fail to uphold religious freedom, fail to adequately confront terrorism, and fail to protect the innocent from persecution. So why are we rewarding a government that fails to meet such a basic obligation? This amendment is simple. It does not remove the aid conditions in the bill, but only strengthens such conditions. But most importantly, it upholds a principle that all recipients of American taxpayer assistance should follow, that they must prove they are willing and able to respond to violence before receiving any funding.
The religion of peace is at it again. Hey, you know what it is?
Simply put, meet the standard before receiving support. That is the accountability the American taxpayer deserves. Foreign aid should never be a reward for failure. So as our national debt is fast approaching 40 trillion, why on earth are we still allowing ourselves to go further into debt by rewarding corrupt foreign governments?
So here's the problem. The NGO money is separate. That's the problem. It's like they launder the money through NGOs.
That tolerate terrorism within their borders. When churches are burned, women and girls are abducted, and terrorists operate with near impunity, that is not merely an internal disturbance, it is a direct assault on the freedoms our nation claims to defend, which our foreign assistance must reflect and uphold.
Yeah, we can't be giving money to people to do this crazy shit, of course.
This is not about punishing the Nigerian people. It is about demanding accountability for their government's complacency and ensuring that our foreign aid is leveraged to defend, reflect, and uphold American values. Even the underlying bill recognizes that.
Okay, so we have chat here. Yeah, Armin. Yeah, we know Mark Levin is with Reza. Like, if there's anything new on that, I can send a video to him. But we're pretty much like everybody. Like, we love Mark Levin, so, and we love Reza Pahlavi, so that'll definitely come up. So appreciate you though. You do what you can, man. We don't want anybody to break the bank for us.
The Nigerian government's failure to meet the standard, yet it still allows for half of the funding to be released anyways. My amendment withholds all funds until they meet basic standards. Accountability can never be divided, nor should we allow anyone to exploit the generosity of the American taxpayer. I urge my colleagues to uphold accountability in our foreign aid spending and to vote for my amendment. I reserve.
Can't wait for the national address tomorrow, hoping it involves a cleanup plan in the U.S. Yeah, I hope to see arrests. That's what I fucking run. I'm tired of talking. I want arrest. I'm sick of the Pam-bombed DOJ that didn't do nothing. I'm glad that motherfucking whoever the new guy is arresting some people, but I want to see some fucking arrests. Jesus Christ.
Communism is so often described as an ideology or a belief that exists somewhere other than in the United States. Let me ask you, sir, just how serious a threat to our national security are these communist subversive activities in the United States today?
This is from the president.
Well, I think they're serious. I think it's a matter that we should continue to give great care and attention to. We should support the laws which the United States has passed in order to protect us from those who would destroy us from within. We should sustain the Department of Justice in its efforts and the FBI, and we should be continually alert. I think if the United States is maintaining a strong society here in the United States.
You know what I think this is? I think this is what they call foreshadowing.
I think that we can meet any.
I think this is about tomorrow.
internal threat. The major threat is external and will continue.
For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its
Commies. He's talking about commies.
preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. It conducts the Cold War, in short, with a wartime discipline no democracy would ever hope or wish to match. Nevertheless, every democracy recognizes the necessary restraints of national security. And the question remains whether those restraints need to be more strictly observed if we are to oppose this kind of attack as well as outright invasion.
I think that's a good point. And I think that's a little
Communism is so-
foreshadowing for tomorrow.
Fox News alert, Trump's giving Iran the big squeeze. For the first time in the war, we're launching airstrikes while the blockade's in full effect. Plus, sanctions are slapped back. Last night, 47 gave the gay.
That's a good point. Like, this is a three-front thing. Like, we're doing the sanctions, we're doing the blockade, and we're striking at the same time. That's a triple, that's a triple-double. That's a hat trick.
Ayatollah 7 straight hours of bitch slaps.
7 straight hours of bitch slaps. He just said it like that. Did you guys? Whoa.
Of bitch slaps.
Yeah, whoa, let's run it back.
Ayatollah 7 straight hours of bitch slap.
I like that. He just said it. He just said it and kept rolling.
U.S. precision missiles fired from fighter jets, drones, and warships hit dozens of Iranian launch sites, mosquito fleets, and defense systems near the strait. And this morning, Iran woke up to more bombs, over an hour of pounding, hitting cruise missiles.
Over an hour of pounding, just poundings and bitch slaps. It's getting S&M up in the strait.
Storage and missile sites near an island base. We're not stopping. Our forces are bombing Iran for the second time today. While the blockade stops anyone without a permission slip, a Curacao flag tanker headed for Carg Island. That's the first ship disabled since we started back up. We shot a Hellfire missile straight through her smokestack. We're also
Hellfire missile straight through her smokestack. That brings back memories. We did that back in the days of the USS Cole.
striking deep inside Iran. We hit a railway bridge that's crucial for Iran's trade with Russia and China. So now the land blockade's up right alongside the wall of steel. This was a warning of a bridge before bridge and power plant day. Now the mullahs are picking up the phone.
Came to the conclusion that you couldn't negotiate with the IRGC. Does that mean that you might wipe them
Did you notice that they said the IRGC?
out like you did ISIS?
Yeah, it does. We will see what's happening. We received a call just as I was.
I want to run that back.
Now the mullahs are picking up the phone.
Came to the conclusion that you couldn't negotiate with the IRGC. Does that mean that you might wipe them out like you did ISIS?
Yeah, it does. We will see what's happening. We received a call just as I was coming here that they want to meet. They always want to meet. But, this should have been done by other presidents for many years, for 40.
Okay, we have a question here. Deep inside pounding, what is this man thinking about while reading the news? He wants the IRGC to get fucked. That's what I'm thinking. That's what he's talking about. Bitch slapping, pounding straight down the smokestack. He's saying fuck the IRGC. And we're going to do it by putting warheads on foreheads.
But really a lot longer than that, and it wasn't. And I never understood why, but now I do. because if you're not going to do it the way I'm doing it, you're never going to make a deal with them.
They're scraping for leverage. Terror is the only card they have left. So they're flinging drones at their Gulf neighbors. And now the mullahs are after our boys. Iranian politicians want the IRGC.
That's not a real picture. We don't know if he has a face. Woodrow Wilson was awful. Yes, what do you get at Democrat? Okay. 1 second while I read the chat. Yeah. We had Wilson. That made things bad. Kennedy, after him, things got worse. And it's just kind of been downhill with the Democrats.
To invade one of our bases and kidnap 100 soldiers, hold them hostage in Tehran. Good luck with that.
We had 111
They talking a lot of shit.
missiles shot a few weeks ago by our lovely friends from Iran. They were aimed at the Abraham Lincoln. Out of the 111 missiles shot, 111 missiles were knocked into the sea.
Yeah, they suck.
I called the captain of the ship. He wasn't even sweating. 111 missiles are coming at you. And he's drinking his coffee, taking it easy.
The mullahs can lob as many ballistics as they want. We'll shoot them down. There's nothing they can do to us. That's why we own the Strait.
It's open if people want to go through it. We're not opening it for Iran. That's the only one it's closed for. It's closed for Iran, both in and out. But it's open now. A lot of things have happened, Trey, in the last few months. Pipelines are being built. We're coming up with great alternatives, including
Pipelines are being built.
Texas, including Alaska.
Alaska is opening up. This is what I talked about. One of the things that's going to be done is that we're not going to care about the straight oil, because we're going to start supplying oil to the world to the point where Saudi Arabia says, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to sign with Israel, because if I keep fucking around, no one's going to need my oil anymore. And if no one needs my oil anymore, what the fuck am I going to do? Like, you know what's fucking up Saudi Arabia? They wanted to do a 2030 plan where they got away from oil, because I don't know if that's running out or whatever. Right? So they got to get away from oil. UAE doesn't even want to be in OPEC anymore. Iraq might leave OPEC. So OPEC is a problem that's kind of solving itself. And these are problems that are all being exacerbated by the IRGC. So that's why all the Gulf, like, you got to understand, part of waiting is forcing the Persian Gulf state to understand, keep fucking around and everybody's going to have oil. And when everybody has oil and it's closer than you, motherfucker, you're going to make a lot less money. Do you understand, Persian Gulf nations? Either you get rid of Iran, well, the IRGC, either you motherfuckers get rid of the IRGC, or the whole planet is going to get really used to getting it somewhere else. And you know what that means? That means that by the time you guys get your shit together and you start pumping freely, oil is going to be so cheap that it's not going to be even profitable to have oil. It's going to cost more to get it out than it is to sell it. Like, you want to keep your oil profitable? OPEC isn't working. You guys can't agree on a price. Once the outside world doesn't give a shit about West Texas Index, the WTI, the West Texas Index doesn't give a fuck about your price. If we build an Alaskan index and an Argentinian index, a Brazilian index, there's oil all over the world, motherfucker, and we're getting better at getting it out. So you motherfuckers either help us take care of the IRGC or you're going to fuck yourselves. That's what's going on. That's the real problem. That's why a lot of these Persian Gulf allies are starting to say, you know, we're going to have to fucking deal with the IRGC because we're kind of fucking ourselves.
But it's open now. A lot of things have happened, Trey, in the last few months. Pipelines are being built. We're coming up with great alternatives, including Texas, including Alaska.
Texas and Alaska. You see what he's talking about? It's like, fuck this. We'll sell oil.
Nothing leaves.
What's coming up here? Venezuela. Like that oil refiner, it's not up to date, right? That's not pumping as much as it should. But I bet they're working hard on getting it pumping. And once Venezuela is fully operational and pumping, Venezuela used to be one of the strongest economies it was like top 10, I maybe even top 5 until the fucking socialist communist filth took over Venezuela. These people were like the Abu Dhabi of the South America. These people were super rich. The commies took it over and they ruined it.
Unless we say so. And their neighbors are building pipelines around Hormuz. They'll have oil flowing without Iran getting their slimy hands on it. And with the land and sea blockade, they can't get their oil out. So what are they going to sell instead? Pistachios? Now, the commander-in-chief was in the situation.
This guy's funny. He's funny.
Room. He's being presented with more options. Sources say Carg Island's in
This
play.
motherfucker sassy.
So's Pickaxe Mountain.
I like sassy.
Fox News alert.
We're going to replace them with proud American veterans who are going to take our veterans, who are going to make them, we're going to teach them a lot about driving.
Apparently, there's an effort to get veterans to replace illegals in trucking. That's great.
500,000 signatures to the Save Europe Act. We are not here to ask for permission from the European Commission. We will bring the voice of the European people to the Parliament, even if they don't want to hear it. Here we are.
I gotta put this in World
ladies
React.
and gentlemen, 500,000.
Okay, you know what? I didn't know about that. This is breaking news for me too. But apparently, we passed the Save America Act, and these people. So here's the problem: Europe, when it comes to the EU, not UK, the EU nations, the ones that use the euro coin, like they have a whole bunch of unelected people, like that lady that's in the head of the EU, and they're unelected, and they're bringing up the petitions to say, hey, y'all motherfuckers unelected, and they're doing like a Save Europe Act, like a Save EU Act.
Signatures to the Save Europe Act. We are not here to ask for permission from the European Commission. We will bring the voice of the European people to the Parliament, even if they don't want to hear it. Here we are.
This is adorable. I know that's a grown-ass woman, but she is adorable. Like, I don't care. Like, as an old man, all these young women look like, oh my God, like, they feel like a little daughter. Like, oh my God, she's adorable. You're doing so good. You're so moral. You got your heart and your mind in the right place. I love this shit.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is a file of anonymized, of course.
Yeah, I know we got steps to go. Don't get mad at me. It's hey, if it was up to me, it would have been passed, Grant. I mean, I know it's not passed, but it's half passed. Like it got past one of the two chambers. It's like the heart. It got through one, chamber of the heart. It's got to go through the other one, and then it's got to get to the White House, and then it passes out to the people. That's like kind of the four ventricles of the heart, of America. I know. Jeez, calm down, man. I'm on your side.
First, names of European patriots who want remigration and who want it now. This is the voice of the people.
They want okay, they want to get rid of all the illegals. I get it.
These people decide, not them. This is the voice of the people. We are over 535,000, so we're already over half of what the threshold would be for an official European Citizens Initiative. That in less than 2 months. So this is already an amazing success.
What does precisely
the Save Europe Act say?
You want to go and read it?
If you can summarize, please.
Of course.
Then I will read it in full.
With the Save Europe Act, we of course want to save Europe from replacement migration, And for that, we demand a full and total halt of both legal and illegal non-Western immigration to Europe. And we demand that the European Commission installs a remigration scheme in all of Europe so we can finally start sending them back.
So also legal migrants.
No!
Send them back! Send them back! Send them back! Send them back!
Okay, I'm loving that. I gotta say, I'm sold on that. Oh, look at this. Oh, we're bringing we're you know what? They love doing that shit to us. Remember all the caravans of the UN funded illegal immigrants they used to send? The Trump administration is offering grants of up to $3 million to European activist groups promoting free speech and opposing online censorship, with funding aimed at organizations challenging laws such as the EU's Digital Service Act, the UK's Online Safety Act. Initiative also backs groups critical of mass immigration policies, framing the effort as part of a broader effort to strengthen free expression and civilizational self-confidence across Europe. Yeah, they're not very confident about this.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. Thank you, Carlos Jimenez, for sharing your incredible life story. Thank you to Chairwoman McClain. We're a little more animated these days than.
Look, this guy, I know he's not perfect, but the one that really pisses me off is Thune. This one, I don't know him so much, but I haven't seen him do that bad things as bad like John Thune. I know John Thune, he's pretty, what? Where? What did you see? Wait a minute. Where's Pence? Pence was here?
Normal. I brought a little fire to our House Republican Conference meeting this morning because I feel like Carlos does. I believe everything is at stake right now. This isn't campaign rhetoric. It's not hyperbole. You see what's happening around America.
Like, okay, so some people in the chat are telling me like some of them like Johnson. I think it get probably better than Thune.
I am often reminded these days of the writings of the founders, the warnings of the people who put together the principles that made us the greatest nation in the history of the world. They warned us against times like this. In more recent times when we were kids, in the 80s, Ronald Reagan used to remind us all the time. You hear me repeat it. You have to understand freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. It is not passed along in the bloodstream. Reagan said it must be fought for, it must be protected, it has to be taught, passed along to the next generation so that they too will understand these principles that hold us.
That's a good point. I don't think we have enough civics education. I think civics is something that's very much missing in the politics and the policy of America. I think we should teach civics and the politics, the policy, and the education. We don't have an educated and informed, citizenship. Then how are they going to understand the politics and the policy that they're, that they're a part of? Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I'll follow this
together. I'm somewhat of a historian. I'm a constitutional law attorney. I know many of you we're all amateur historians here. You must be if you work on Capitol Hill. You watch and follow these developments. There's a small number of times in the history of America where the actual experiment in self-governance.
Oh my God, wait a minute. They don't teach civics in Oz? That's fucked
was
up.
On the ballot.
I'm guessing Oz is Australia.
The idea that we would preserve a constitutional republic, a one nation under God, a government of, by, and for the people, all that is in question right now. For the first time, really, in my lifetime, this is a real question the American people have to decide in November, in a midterm election for Congress and Senate. It's not something that we would have projected. I hoped and prayed it would never come to this, but here we are. The barbarians are in the gate. Last night I did a little... in a big group, actually, of VIPs that took on a tour. I don't get to do that very often anymore, but took a tour of the Capitol, a quick one. We wound up on the House floor, and I pointed to them, as you may have heard me reference this often. I think of it a lot. Why did Congress put "In God We Trust" above the rostrum of the Speaker's podium there in the center of the House? It's inscribed in the marble, as you know. You can't miss it when you walk in the chamber. It's the first thing people notice when they walk in at eye level and see it there. And I pointed out that in the visitor's guide to the House, it explains that. It says it was put there in 1962, and it says in the visitor's guide, it's been published for many years, it said Congress voted to place that there as a rebuke to the Soviets because of their philosophy during the Cold War. What was the philosophy of the Soviets? It's what Carlos just outlined, same philosophy of Cuba. The brutal dictatorship there that robbed him of his childhood and so many countless others. They've lost their lives trying to flee from that brutal dictatorship. The philosophy of the Soviets during the Cold War was Marxism, communism, socialism. That's That's the thing. And when Congress voted in 1962 to put that there, it was right after your childhood in the late 50s when the Castro took over and destroyed Cuba. It was a completely foreseeable result. We were fighting it during the Cold War on distant shores in the USSR. And Congress was resolute on that. They were all united, and they understood that that's not who we are as Americans. The reason we are the greatest nation in the history of the world, the most free, most successful, most powerful, most benevolent. You hear me say it all the time. The reason that we are the greatest nation is because we were built on an entirely different and opposing set of values. Congress put in God We Trust above the rostrum because they wanted to remind everybody who would ever serve in this body in Congress that there is a huge distinction between us and the Soviets' philosophy. Communism, Marxism, socialism, all this begins with the premise that there is no God. It's a totally different philosophy. And our declaration that we just celebrated 250 years on July 4th, the nation's creed, as you hear me talk about all the time, the second paragraph, we hold these truths to be self-evident and all men are created equal. Our rights come from our creator, God. They do not come from the government. The communists believe the opposite. They believe that the government is, the state is God.
That's the problem. That's the main problem. Okay, here, and she's saying parents also need to remind their children that the freedoms are not free and need to be fought for. Yes, you have to know what it costs to get where we are. The sacrifice, all that's very important.
The state is the one that gives you all your rights. And you know what? The state can also take those rights away. And
that's another thing. Like when you have God, like even if you don't believe in God, you don't want anyone that, is above you to think they are God. When humans think that they are the maximum understanding and the maximum creation, that's a problem. When humans think they can judge other humans, their value, because you can judge their crime, you can judge their theft, but judging their value, that's a problem. Like, I know there's good atheists out there, but atheists tend to have this non-scientific view of the world. Because to be an atheist, you have to completely reject science, because science is systemic doubt. But you're telling me that you're sure. Well, then you're not scientific at all. If you're sure about God, that's not very scientific. A scientist will say, you know what, by what we have studied and understood, there are many dimensions. We don't know what is beyond. We don't know how it all works. We have theories, strong theories, but we have never been able to prove there is no God or that there is a God. That's scientific. I am sure. That's not scientific. That's emotional. I come from nothing, and this magical nothing made everything. And when I die, I go back to this magical nothing. Well, motherfucker, that sounds like God. You just call it nothing instead of calling it God. If you replace your nothing and put the word God there, it's the same shit. Oh, I evolved from mud. Oh, you evolved from mud, so you're made of mud. Oh, okay, I've heard that before. No, you don't understand. Like everything is quantum entangled together. Oh, so like kind of like omnipresent. Okay, I've heard that before. Where you getting all this copy pasta? You're just copying everything. Oh, the time is relative. You can't measure time here and there the same way. Oh, okay, so 7 days at the center of creation could have been billions of years in this corner of the galaxy. Oh, that's interesting. It's very interesting. That's fascinating. It's like I've heard it all before. Interesting. But you're sure. Okay, well then I'm sure too. But you can't call me scientific and I can't call you scientific, because science is systemic doubt. That's my view on it. No, okay, so we know that here in Liberty Politics used to be atheist republic. So we know the atheists here are not the Marxist asshole atheists. So I have to make clear, I'm not trying to cast aspersions on any atheists here, but you atheists know that there's a lot of atheist assholes out there that make you angry. Like, no, that's what are you doing? No. You understand? Like you guys know, it's like women. You say women are horrible, and a woman will say, "Oh my God, don't say that." Okay, then about the women that you have encountered, women. Are some of the women that you have met not the worst? Oh my God, they're horrible. It's like, okay, you see? You see? It sounds bad when I say it, but you say it all the time. You understand what I mean? I think I'm gonna end it there. I think it's already a little bit past. What Speaker Johnson is talking about is very true. I'm glad the Save America Act is kind of getting passed through. We're gonna get a little bit more into Nick Shirley tomorrow. Today, I wasn't able to get any rage click from my guy. I'm gonna talk to him today about
Thank you, Mr. Leader. Thank
trying to make sure I get some of those rage clip for you guys. I kind of went clip after clip after clip today. I'm gonna be honest with you, just making it real. You guys stick around more when I am stay on one topic and just stay on one video for longer. That's what my experimentation is showing me. So tomorrow we're gonna get back to a reaction video, do some a little bit longer videos. Like you guys seem to like that more, at least in this time zone, at least in America. So we're gonna try to do that for you. I want to thank you guys for being here. I also want to, bless you guys, bless your health, bless your wealth, bless your plans, your homes, your families, your loved ones, and everything you touch. Peace.